You wrote an article recently called Can Coronavirus Cure White Supremacy? And one of the lines that you said was, the reaction to this new crisis reveals that we have always been aware that our economy didn't represent all of Americans and was never intended to guarantee prosperity for all. So what about this crisis has revealed those points?
Black people are disproportionately being affected by coronavirus. And a lot of people are associating that with lifestyle, because I think it's kind of a malpractice to make that point without saying why they're affected. And a lot of it is because of economic reasons. A report from 2016 says Black people are twice as likely to live in a zip code that doesn't have a hospital or primary care physician. That's economics, right? That stems from the history of redlining. That stems from how we segregated Black neighborhoods throughout American history. Black people have 1/10 the wealth of white people. For every dollar a white person has, a Black person has a dime. And that affects medical care. Black people are more likely to be uninsured. All these are economic reasons why this pandemic is affecting Black America at disproportionate rates.
Are there any points in American history that you think might help us predict how all of this might actually play out, or maybe how we could get to a better outcome?
So the perfect example is the New Deal, right? So after the 1929 stock market crash and the Great Depression that followed, we had to dig ourselves out of a similar, if not worse, economic hole, right? So what did we do? First thing we did is we created the Tax Act of 1935. They called it the Soak the Wealthy tax. So they taxed, the highest margin of taxes was at 90% for anyone who made over $500,000. And they used those funds to create the American middle class. They created a federal minimum wage. They created what we call now Social Security. They created the Homeowners Loan Corporation that built suburbs. They gave white-owned businesses funds to supplement their income. And now Black people were excluded from the New Deal. For most of our history, Black people and brown people were excluded. So we can't discount that when we're rebuilding. So whose responsibility is it to build this new society? It's the people with the privilege. It's the people who have the money. It's the people who have historically enjoyed the resources and the privilege that whiteness affords, that the middle class has built off the Black backs, not just the backs, not just the labor. We always talk about labor, right? But when Black people were excluded from the New Deal, they were still using our tax money. They were still using the dollars that we earned, right? So that is an investment that we have put into America that we deserve to see some return on.
What message do you have for Black and brown people of America and America as a whole?
The message that I would say for Black and brown people is like, this is hard. But we've been through this before. Like our hands are weathered by the work that we've done and our ancestors have done. This is our test for our generation. But we know the previous generations that came before us have passed it, and we can pass it too. And as for America as a whole, now you see how interconnected we all are. You can't just isolate yourself. No man is an island, because the person that is 6 feet away from you is intertwined and inextricably joined to you, because we all share the air and the sunlight and this country and the policies that not only gave you what you have today, but they had to take it from someone. And the person that they took it from is breathing the same air you're breathing.